disgusting. That's how TSM beat the #1 team, the undefeated team before that in the LCS, FlyQuest. Took them down with the Taliyah plus Vi combination. And CLG, some pretty good target bans, and that means Elise gets left up. It also means Maokai is left up. So it's very interesting. CLG want to play a much faster pace, gank heavy, tower dive heavy, instead of going for the Maokai, which is just as high priority, especially before the next round of nerfs come in. Demonic's still extremely good and plays right into playing those front-to-back team fights. So CLG, even with just their first choice of this draft phase, saying we're going to be the ones pushing the tempo, and TSM, you're going to be the ones playing for the big team fights, playing for the setups on these objectives. So I really want to see some spicy lanes for CLG to go along with this Elise that has to get some ganks going.
Yeah, you're already indexed in it with that spider pick, right? If you are not trying to push the tempo, then why are you picking Elise in the first place? And TSM, whenever you have a team that is their identity is built on being kind of a late game scaling powerhouse, you have one or two options of attacking that, right? Either you try to match them in the scaling, or you have to hit them hard early before they come online. And CLG, I think they're taking the latter here.
Certainly looks like it. Flirting with the Lucian Nami possibility on bottom side after seeing the Karma here, which technically can be flexed to a solo lane, but you assume it's probably, you know, Karma plus Ezreal or Varus or something down on the bottom side.
Sure.
And CLG see that, and they're completely fine with it because TSM themselves are the one that banned the Zeri.
Okay, this has happened now like the third time. Why is everyone hovering ramps on CLG? Is this like an inside joke that we don't know?
Yes.
I mean, clearly.
Because everything's okay, Raaffaa, that's why. Everything's okay.
Oh my god.
All right, the Karma Caitlyn. We mentioned both the Varus and the Caitlyn getting through, and they take the Caitlyn heavy pushing lane down here. Again, TSM likes stability. In the interview Solo gave, he was talking about how this team really focused on beating the teams that they're supposed to beat, taking care of business, and then maybe every once in a while you grab the game off of a top team. They want the more structured setup here for themselves. Maokai in the jungle, bottom side pushing permanently here with Caitlyn and Karma, lots of harassment. That frees up, you know, Bugi to go use his flash W from Maokai towards Maple in the mid lane and play off that synergy there. So let's see about these solo lane bans then. CLG already banned away Maple's Taliyah. What else can they follow it up with here? TSM, meanwhile, because they know solo, high probability of playing a tank or Renekton on top side, so they ban away a couple carries here from Dhokla, since there is such a big difference in styles of these two top laners.
Yeah, because especially if Elise were to pay a visit towards a Jax lane or any other carry that Dhokla wants to bust out on the stage today, you cannot let it snowball, because TSM needs the time to scale into that later stage of the game. Jace is another pick that CLG are thinking that TSM might play with. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that is a Maple Jace ban here, so maybe CLG want to set up like a Sylas or something for Palafox in the mid lane. Jace is definitely one of the big counter picks into the Sylas. Also serves as that flex pick, and there's the second carry top laner ban from TSM, also taking out the Fiora. That true damage so annoying if solo is to play the beefy tank top side.
I mean, we've seen Aurelia from Dhokla. We've seen in the past Yone also be another comfortable carry champion. It is a little bit more volatile than the other two options that TSM banned. But I would imagine that TSM would have to first pick their top lane in order for CLG to feel comfortable about counterpicking it or blinding it even available. So TSM more than likely will... Oh.
Yeah, that Renekton that we mentioned for solo. This is one of his hard carry champions that he's been able to pull off. I have to say, the Sylas is looking really good. Enemy team has a Maokai as well. You can steal Maokai ultimate there. The only problem with picking Sylas for CLG is that then you have double AP mid jungle. Elise plus Sylas, not the greatest 2v2, and so then that would push Contractz more towards ganking top or ganking bottom side, but definitely still could pull it off. But with the Sion answer instead for top side for Dhokla, that's going to put some more pressure on Palafox carry here.
Yeah, that changes the whole scope of the composition now. CLG wanting to now have a solid front line for themselves means that there's a lot less incentive for Contractz to be playing on the top side of the map and now focus more on the bottom side of the map. I do also agree that whatever Palafox is in here, picks here for CLG needs to pack a lot of firepower.
That being said, TSM themselves used the Elise plus Sylas combo and ganked, Sion combo and ganked 4 solo for the Sion and got him super snowballed.
That is
actually
true.
Won the game with the beefiest Sion ever. There's that Sylas that I was talking about though. It just looks so good with the Jace Rise bands plus with the Maokai. Kind of a no-brainer there. And then TSM. Maple pulling out the nerfed Kassadin. Excited to see if he can actually scale, putting themselves on this timer. I do like, though, when you're picking your Kassadin in a team comp where you have priority top lane and priority bottom lane, to give them that bridge space, buy them the extra map pressure on the other parts of the map to be able to scale.
And it's really curious for TSM because a little bit of their identity is still the same. It's just swapped in the players that you would normally expect it from. Normally, we're seeing Maple and Bugi be the early engines that drive the rest of the scaling aspects of what would be Neo, Chime, and Solo later into the game. Now, it's Neo and Chime that have the push advantage with this Caitlyn Karma lane setup. Solo is going to have a better time early on the Renekton as well. So CLG, now where do you...
TSM themselves won the game through ganking for a Sion, tower diving for the Sion, and having the Uber tank early on.
You know, I always associate that just with a solo specialty. But if CLG decide to steal a little bit of their flow there and do the same thing for Dhokla, that would be funny.
They don't call him Big Dokes for nothing.
True.
He's going to be a big old Sion.
True.
Let's see. Bugi here on the Maokai. Always has level 3 options as well. That's one of the reasons why Maokai just took over so heavily. Not only does Maokai, successfully use Demonic Embrace in its super strong state, and provides so much for objective control, for teamfight setup, for zoning. But also has the Flash W level 3 ganks for a little bit of surprise action. If you're able to track the Elise and go to a different lane, then you too can make some early plays.
What will TSM find when they take a peek in the red jungle? It's just Contractz dancing in and out over the Raptor camp.
And I want to point out something. As soon as this banner drops, Contractz has also started with the sweeper on Elise. So Contractz is going with the Raptor start sweeper Elise for the 3 camp into sweep. Guarantee that you have full knowledge of your opponent's vision, whether they see you or not. And they've got the extra sweeper on Poome early as well. So definitely thinking about bottom lane here. We'll point out the 2 wards invested early from TSM to try and protect that bottom lane. Elise, of course, can't get over the back of the Dragon Pit without a Blast Cone.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to work your way through one of those.
But TSM are reading this as well. Bugi already shifted his first start from Raptor camp over to blue buff. He wants to finish on Gromp, so he's going to be here at both level 3 when Contractz is here. So if CLG are planning to try and get a jump on Neo and Chime, I don't know if they're
Probably
aware
just
that
sweep
Bugi
the ward, honestly.
Yeah.
Turned out a little ward gold, little ward experience.
Wait, Palafox is roaming down too, but he's on a ward, so TSM should know this.
Yep. It'll be fine. Oh, he doesn't actually even walk out to see it. Doesn't see the ward, so Bugi will get the counter gank off here. There we go. At the last second, walks back from the river because Chime moves up. And you see a little zoning movement from him. Q comes out, Contractz does get the ward, and Elise with a nice auto attack reset. Always feels so nice, quickly taking those down.
I mean, this is really great defensive vision from TSM. This is snuffing out any type of early action that CLG would really want to win flips over at the moment. We talked about how TSM need to buy time for them to scale for this Kassadin win condition to come online. So far, they're doing a great job.
And the best thing for TSM is, since you got vision of Contractz, you saw he did 3 camps. He has red buff. You know he fully cleared his bottom side. So you know he has to be going to the top side now. TSM using that info to bring Bugi down to the bottom side on this wave.
Yep. And as you said it, because TSM know that Contract's going to be on the top side of the map, this exposes Luger and Poome potentially to a dive. Neo and Chime were looking to chunk them as much as possible. Poome burning early sums just so that he was not low enough for that dive to work.
And even though there is no action, it accomplishes a goal here for TSM with Caitlyn Karma pushing their opponents under the tower so that then it's a lot easier to poke them down. Here's the visit up top side. Dhokla not able to get the Q off on time on solo, but Contractz is in position.
Hey, Kobe, what'd you say about ganking for a Sion? I mean, Contractz says, I need an option to find one, and he gets it. First blood for CLG.
It's funny, too, because you can tell, oh, man, he really did not want to go up there, but because bottom side is warded so heavily, that's the pathway. And Contractz is able to stop off, not only avoid this ward in the river by going into enemy jungle, but also taking the stop, getting the red buff, then coming from behind. So very, very efficient still play from Elise as Palafox goes into his own chicken pit and will get wrapped up by Bugi.
Oh yeah, he's forced to flash. Not a great position for him. Chime also off of the back of a successful push in from TSM's bottom lane, giving him the opportunity to be on the map. Palafox's flash is down. I imagine that TSM will want to repay that visit mid lane soon.
Yeah, and look at the rewards here. So even though CLG get their gank on top side, sapling here by Raptor Pit, ward here on red buff. They had a ward as well for second spawn of Krugs, and then Poome clears out the one in Tribe Rush. So once again, TSM have the extra info here.
I mean, I just feel like
that
there's no way that this should work for CLG. Right?
Neo's no flash.
Chime and Neo, maybe it does. Contractz cannot get in range for the cocoon to land. TSM still make it out.
Really, really, valuable visit anyway for Contractz, because when you get first blood as Elise, you get enough money to rush these sword shoes. With the movement speed, is going to cruise on up towards mid and harass this kassadin for his level 6 as well. That's not going to land much damage. 100 damage, a little gank there. Maple gives you the thumbs up, but it allows your bottom lane to push out and get that breathing room versus the Caitlyn Lux. And even if the bubble had hit,
it's a really good chunk. Kobe and Contractz is here once again.
Dive.
Chime has both sums, so this is not going to be as easy for Contractz to pull off, and Bugi is here to deflect it. Palafox is leaning as well. I don't think that CLG will be able to pull off a dive against them, but they're just pushing in this wave and putting as much pressure as possible. Yeah,
good defense here from Bugi, so even though Bubble lands for a little bit of harassment under tower, can't go for the actual dive. The full health Maokai has come to defend, but it still allows the Elise to move in. Contractz here, camping up by blue buff, waiting for Bugi to come out and try and resume his farm.
I mean, this is really aggressive. I kind of like it though. I mean, CLG with this kind of composition, you just have to look for any opportunities available. Second cast of chains connects.
He's 6 though.
But Maple should be able to get out alive. Taking a big chunk on the back end of it though.
Yeah, once he's 6, Maple has a lot more freedom here. Holds onto his Summoner Spellbook, heal, and flash. Now with the push out on bottom side, with the push out mid though, CLG time to use that pressure for an objective. Palafox gonna go for the recall and doesn't have teleport. So maybe it is just gonna be the crab, and they still don't turn this into a dragon or anything.
You know, considering that they did point out the TSM CLG fan chants were split, maybe the rivalry still exists, at least for the fans, right? You know, maybe not so much for the players. And yes, I agree, CLG. I need Zoomer Mark more in my life as well.
What are you talking about? That's regular Mark. I see that Mark every single day.
Well, you know,
he puts on a facade.
Coming from a fan perspective, you know, I never got to see that side of Mark as much until this year. So, you know, love the new Mark Z content.
All right. Attempt number 3 on the bottom lane game.
Here we go.
Can we catch Caitlyn today?
The spider waits for her prey. The lone hunters from Neo.
Weaving her web.
Uh-oh. Flash is still not available. Yeah. Neo is gone, ladies and gentlemen. He has been corralled into a corner. That's another kill for Contractz and CLG.
And they see 3 members mid here from TSM, so will be a hard shove into transition over towards Rift Herald for TSM. Bottom side, though, that's going to be a hard push for Lucian Nami into some turret plates for themselves. They got the kill onto Neo, plus should be able to get Dragon now and the turret plates. So it just took 1 extra visit, and they're able to make it happen.
Contractz is just showing persistence in full display right now, making sure that, hey, you know what, just because it doesn't work the first time, it doesn't work the second time or the third time, but the 4th time, Kobe, the 4th time they finally get what they needed. Because you just got to keep pushing that pace when you are playing this champion. Yeah,
that's why Elise is so successful right now, because ganking is so heavily rewarded and farming is not. So if you are pushed into farming and you went with a plan B, then you would kind of be sacrificing the game already.
Yep.
Kind of have to keep up that pressure. Just again, wavering between mid and bottom lane. is able to actually get the dragon this time around, as we said. So not a super early stack, but definitely will be there. Everybody's eyeballs are going to be on that kassadin timer as well here with the early tier, plus building into the rod. Maple, at least for TSM's sake, even though they gave up 2 kills and a dragon, getting the gold back from the Rift Herald trade on that side and having kassadin farming quite freely against this Sylas in the mid lane with multiple visits from other people does feel pretty decent for Maple. And there's even only 1 hit left on that tower plate in mid as well for Maple. So if he could get another visit from somebody to help him push the wave in and go tap that wave, it would be juicy.
Bugi is here just in case a counter gank happens, already throwing out the ultimate, but Contractz is going to force Maple to flash. Bugi has arrived, locks down Contractz, but he still has a repel to play with, so should be fine, unless the bottom lane from TSM comes and completely changes the variables at play, and Ignite will tick down Contractz. He's running for his life, but the Ignite from Chime takes him out.
Really close defense there, too. Oh, can Maple go tap that? The Rift Herald's going to do it for him, but Palafox tried his best. He takes the Caitlyn headshot to try and help Elise survive, but the Ignite from Chime is enough to burn him down afterwards. And TSM focusing on that mid lane. Like we're saying, the shining light here. Maple now continues to cruise ahead in the scaling.
Yeah. Soon we're going to get into the territory where everyone is spamming the Monka W Kassadin level 9 out of 16 chat as we get back into the replay once again.
All right, so Palafox flashes so he doesn't get hit by the Maokai ultimate, going for the one that Contractz already soaked here. Nothing for Contractz to come down on as far as the repel to any enemies, so has to come right back down. Maple and Bugi waiting for him, and then Chime with the hero roam on the Karma. Walks into tower range to get off the Ignite. Job done. Yeah. Also, the best part of that, it guaranteed that Rift Herald charge into mid lane to fund this Rod of Ages. This is a pretty quick Rod of Ages as far as kassadin goes.
Yeah.
So Maple with 200 stacks on his tier, as well as the pretty early Rod of Ages completed.
Scaling is coming on the line for Maple here in TSM. And now that's twice that Chime has found a small window where he can roam and be at the right place at the right time where he needed to be. Maple dodging out on another cocoon. Rift walks back over to safety. Contractz still keeping up that pressure because that's the name of the game. Just because that previous gank didn't work out doesn't mean you can't keep trying.
And so one step TSM could do to try and solve that issue is get some vision into this river. This river is the highway that Contractz is using to cruise between mid and bottom lane right now, and it's under full vision of CLG. This Maokai ult gets 2 though.
Oh, they're gonna go for it. 2-man Q from Bugi, locks down Contractz. Poome is forced to both use sums, but Contractz doesn't have his from the previous fight. Maple gets another kill.
And they go right to it. TSM, they take back control. Brute force, Maokai ultimate squishes another spider and allows even more time here in the mid lane for Maple. Now it also means bottom lane gets to push out. Your Caitlyn Karma again gets to try and put pressure back on that bottom lane turret and try and re-accomplish their original goal. Neo gets to fully push the wave in, gets to get his recall off. No turret plates for themselves quite yet, but still being able to reset that before the next dragon comes up is pretty big. Now, if Bugi can get in there and lay some extra saplings, that would be ideal. He's got 1 in the pixel brush by dragon right now.
Bugi and the rest of TSM have just been on top of it and maintaining that defensive line of vision everywhere that Contractz goes, which, to be fair, has really only been on this bottom side of that map, that bottom triangle that you were talking about before, during the draft phase. And if TSM already knows and CLG haven't really changed that game plan other than the one gank on the top side of the map, they know what you're going to be playing for. They know which 2 lanes you're going to be bouncing all the time, so they can prepare for anti-defense measures like this.
Yep, certainly do. TSM definitely know themselves quite well. I will say, though, for top lane being quiet, that's a pretty good sign for CLG. Dhokla up there with just the assist from the first kill that Contractz made on his visit on this Sion, farming decently well here versus Solo, matching him on first item completions. And here's dragon number 2, a pretty pivotal point, and Bugi's got his ult and flash ready on Maokai for the engage for TSM.
They have to wait a few seconds before teleports become unleashed so that Dhokla could join anywhere
Solo coming down
for these team fights. Solo is already here first, doesn't have to use the teleport, whereas Dhokla is forced to use his because he wants to be in the front lines right next to CLG.
All right, watch that front line.
Bugi with the ultimate, they locked up Dhokla. He's manning it right now, but Palafox fires a copy of his own ultimate from Maokai. Oh, huge two-man stun into two-man knockup from Dhokla. Can CLG now carry the momentum of this fight? So far, it seems like it's Solo and Neo are already gone, and Maple is nowhere near that level 16 mark for him to really rampage through CLG's team.
Yeah, they've got no damage left. They've got no damage left. Neo got hit right in the face. Maokai ultimate was stolen. Nami wave plus Maokai ultimate, plus the Sion ultimate. CLG with 3 layers on that engaged cake. They get it. They get their dragon number 2, and they pass that pivotal point in the game. That was critical for this team. Otherwise, then you really start to worry about the TSM cast member. Here's another look at it. So, original Maokai ultimate locks them in place. We see how tanky Dhokla is right now. Luger cleanses and flashes away early because he was worried about that threat from Maple, and it's about to re-engage from CLG. The stolen Maokai ultimate into the Sion charge, plus Q charge, and then they have enough of a health lead to finish off that front line. Dhokla even zombie helping them pick up dragon number 2. In the end, though, TSM will trade it on the top side off of their reset and at least pick up Rift Herald number 2 for themselves, to try and get them a little bit of extra tower damage, maybe get some money to try and bridge that gap a little bit.
Yeah, and the nice thing for CLG, because they've picked up the first 2 dragons, it's a Mountain Soul game. You pick that up, and you're already pretty damn hard to kill. Sion is going to even be more over-indexed on that mark. And with Neo, and considering how little resources he's been able to get this game, with all the pressure that CLG has been throwing his way, it really is only on Maple to somehow not only kill the rest of CLG's backline, but also to deal with this Sion later in the game.
Yeah, and you don't want to kill the Sion first as a kassadin too, so you're always like, I need to get to the backline, you know, I need to get to kill this Lucian. Killing basically everybody else is going to be so much easier.
Found a pick onto Bugi, and Bugi just might bite the dust here. CLG clean pickup, way to flash away. Bugi's out of there! He made it out alive, CLG! Are going to be pretty heartbroken after that one.
Oh, not so clean after all. The tree flashes out another life. Protected by the Lorax, you will not chop him down. Luger going to be able to push in afterwards as well. My goodness. They're still pushing ahead. Now, next step, try and actually get that bottom turret down. It's so low here. Maybe Dhokla, you know, can get in there with a little aftershock proc or something, push up on Solo. He does have his steel caps in addition to his Sunfire, so he's extremely tanky to the attack damage threat from Solo.
Not necessarily built to really take out Dhokla anytime soon in the split push. They're just going to be trading waves, blow for blow. As TSM are going to unload this Rift Herald into the mid turret, that opens up a little bit of the map for TSM to play with, and we know that their game has mainly been on Bugi and Chime moving together as a unit, looking for that defensive line of vision while they are still waiting for Maple to scale later into the game.
It's happening pretty quickly here. 6 stacks on the Rod of Ages, so close to that bonus level, level 12 already. With the introduction of the new Rod of Ages with the bonus level too, it just really creeps up on you how quickly that burst can come from. TSM want to rotate Maple out to the side lane so he can continue getting solo experience here, scoop up as much as he possibly can, while the rest of the squad just kind of holds the line here. Caitlyn, Karma in mid lane, very, very easy, good wave clear, and then you just have Maokai saplings controlling the mid section here, so you can watch out for any of those rotations between objectives and play that waiting game, baby.
Yep, just biding your time, waiting for Maple to come online. And for CLG, as we've said it multiple times already, we're gonna beat you over the head with it. They have to put the pressure on TSM. They can't just wait and lay back for the game to close out.
Yeah, and so that's why I really emphasize getting down these outer towers. They really, really need to take down outer towers so you can move your vision line into enemy jungle. Before you take down this first line of defenses, you're just kind of stalling here, and it's so easy for TSM to defend.
They can't get it done so far, Kobe. Every time they get close to it, TSM are allocating lanes beautifully, making sure that someone is always marking one of these outer turrets. I mean, yes, Solo can't push Dhokla around, but Dhokla can't really push Solo around either. And anytime that they get close to it, they usually send a goon squad over from TSM. Bugi and Chime always making their way towards the bottom side of the map if Dhokla goes a little overextended, just like now.
Yeah, I see Solo immediately annihilating the wave. Q plus 4 drinker blows that thing up, allows him to push him out. And CLG fully collapsed towards mid lane here, not being able to make any headway on top side. 4-person strong.
Oh, wait, look at this pincer movement. It's a teleport from Maple. He is level 13 at least, so he has an improved aura cooldown to work with. Palafox is trapped under the tower, forced to flash. It looks like Dhokla and Solo are still battling. Solo was able to cancel Dokla's own teleport, so he couldn't join the fight. CLG not winning on either side.
That's actually a really big cooldown. Big play by Solo to be able to stop the teleport. Now CLG without the ability to play that extra side lane in TSM. You're going to use the health lead to start up the Dragon. Solo stacking his Conqueror up onto Dhokla. Blows open the Blast Cone too. They've got positioning. They could just burn down this Dragon.
And that's huge. I mean, Dhokla is now working with half of his effective
Palafox
health
want that
pool.
Maokai ult. He got it.
I mean, he can ult in still, but he's not going to be able to tank up as much as he could originally. They're throwing out the Maokai ultimate from CLG side. They blow up Solo, and Dhokla now just has to tank for the rest of the team while they burn down the Dragon. There's no smite from TSM. CLG claims it. Neo is still fighting for his life, but Luger already finds Bugi on the back end of it all. CLG find their window, and now let's see what they can do more with it.
Beautiful cross section.
Oh, Maple! Oh, he finds Poome, but now he's stuck. He's Cocoon, and my goodness, CLG punished that kassadin very fast.
Oh, Maple really wanted to pull this game back himself, but it's a little bit too early for that. He uses his flash just to kill the support. Palafox isn't done either.
Chime, run! He still has flash. He's forced to use it over the wall.
TSM kind of crumbling here on Dragon number 3, CLG. They pick up the Dragon, and because of the extra kills afterwards, will finally get that turret down. Now look at the cross section here from stolen Maokai ultimate and Nami ultimate right through. Double hit on the front line. Solo doesn't get to move. Bugi barely gets to hit the ground before his teammate is already dead. And then Dhokla flashes Bugi into the rest of CLG, far away from the rest of the TSM DPS. And because Maple is still scaling here on kassadin, they're unable to get any meaningful victory out of that team fight. Then he goes for the flash play onto the Nami, and it's a 1-for-1 for the enemy support, and you're flashing for it. So that was more of a bit of a rage play there, try and get some money back on kassadin.
Yeah.
Does at least get him some kill experience too. We'll see if that slingshots him ahead, because his rod did just tick over to 10, so he's level 14 now. Two more to go.
Two things that I learned off of that fight. One, TSM are feeling the pressure more than ever now that they need to start getting kills for themselves and getting gold accumulated fast, because that soul window is coming up in the next 3 minutes. But also the camaraderie, once again, from CLG is ever so true. As soon as one of them drops, immediately everyone flashes over the walls like, get this guy! They can't just jump our boy like that. And CLG just persisting through it all.
Yeah, this is why I mentioned Sylas so early in Champion Select. When you see the conditions being met so heavily, double counters banned away, and Maokai ultimate is such a juicy ult to steal. When you're able to pair that with the Nami and the Sion engage here from CLG, it is just an overwhelming amount of ability to turn off of the objectives and force those team fights, so that not only are they able to stack these dragons, but then they can get some kills for themselves as well to try and push forward the game. That being said, TSM not fully out of it. Solo has been winning his Conqueror, Black Cleaver stack here versus Dhokla on the side lane. Before that Dragon fight, was able to get a nice health lead on him, and Maple only 1 level away from what.
That's right. Level 16. It is almost here for Maple. The win condition that TSM have been just delaying for as long as possible. And as we kind of voted before, Neo is nowhere near close to the power level that Luger is exuding, just raw gold stats at the moment. So it really is all on Maple. As soon as he hits level 16, the next big fight that we see, which could be around that 4th dragon, Maple has to shine.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Look at this difference in AD carries. That is freaking massive right now. Single item Caitlyn is not going to be able to do much at all versus that Sion. spitting little pieces of paper at him, as far as I'm concerned. Isn't going to be able to chunk through really anybody who's not isolated out, and Maple isn't helping on.
Yeah.
And so if CLG can get Mountain Dragon Soul, that shield on the squishier members is going to do so much for their survival against the assassin that is level 16 Kassadin.
Yep.
And that might allow them, to get a W over the late game terror.
TSM already just taking the necessary precautions, clearing out this top wave. Maple will look for a reset and then start walking over towards that 4th dragon and spawning in the next 50 seconds.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Yep, this is the big fight that we're alluding to, everyone. Excited. So if you haven't gotten your popcorn now, well, sorry, it's too late. We're about to go in 40 seconds, so get your butt, sit down. We're gonna have a big brawl.
The biggest part is that that's not enough time for Maple to get 16. So TSM.
Oh no, he's gonna have to get a kill for kill experience.
Yeah, they might have to just force early, before CLG get to layer their engages. Vision control maybe, try and pull off some surprise plays. CLG already teleporting in pretty early themselves though and forcing it down mid. They're gaining mid prio. I love this. Shove the mid wave first because TSM know they have to sit here at Dragon. Maokai saplings though are going to do a lot for their setup.
Palafox is going to be on the left side. His job is to mark Maple and make sure that anywhere he goes, Palafox will go as well. Maybe Dhokla now changes that position now as Maple is forced into the back lines of TSM.
Yeah, that's pretty big here. Now it's going to be all on Poome, Nami ultimate.
Looking for the right flank now. Maple is just waiting for a moment. There is no vision on that top lip. Maple looks for the first bit of damage. Solo flashes onto Palafox, forced to flash inside as well. Solo goes down first. Dhokla is taking up everything from TSM. Can Maple look for another one? He has flash and he has cleanse, and he's looking for the angle. He's waiting for Luger to step up. Contractz forced to repel, but he comes back down. Luger snipes out Bugi, and Maple, once again, it's all on him. He's still not level 16 yet, Kobe.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get any kills. No experience for them. They lost 2 members. CLG, the Dragon, the Soul. It's right in front of them. Maple's still doing his best. He stacks up a stack of Riftwalk. Another stack. Blast Cone Riftwalk. He's going for a hero play. No way. No way.
No, he's deciding against it. He thought about it, but that is Mountain Soul success for CLG as they have claimed themselves a powerful buff to potentially close out this game.
That is so big for those CLG squishy members that have to worry about this Kassadin that's coming in. And since Maple here, he's going for the Zhonya second, it's going to be another full item before he can get the magic penetration as well to really, help with actually chunking through some of these. Plus, Dhokla is going to be nigh unkillable here. He has soaked so much frontline damage in the last Dragon fight. Now with Mountain Soul as well. Can Maple take down the Colossus?
Hell no. No way.
What have he tried for a really long time?
If CLG gave him the time of day, it's like, hey, you know what? You got 45 seconds. Do your best, bro.
Yeah, might take 45 minutes. We'll check back in on that one later.
We can take the Baron while you're doing that.
Okay, so this was actually pretty big. I was saying maybe there's a team fight opening with the stolen Maokai ultimate already used from Palafox, so CLG didn't have the extra AoE. But look at the engage. When Maple goes in, it's just a little bit of poke there onto Palafox, but a full commitment as Solo on the Renekton flashes in. And that makes it so easy for CLG to hit their CC. Boom, cocoon into Nami wave. Doesn't even hit the ground. That crocodile died while airborne. Instantly, frontline is gone. Meanwhile, the Sion here is so much tankier. They get the re-engage off, and now CLG on top side. They want the rest of the outer defenses.
Maple's finally level 16 here, Kobe, and he's putting in the damage on the Palafox. He might chunk him out before they get a chance to play for Baron. Teleports are coming out. Palafox is already forced to use the Zhonyas. The last Q, CLG block out the headshot from Neo. Dhokla is now facing 5 members all by himself, but he's so damn tanky. It might not just it doesn't matter at all. They've only gone through a third of his HP. He gets healed back up. Dhokla is big, all right.
He certainly is. Sion with the Dragon Soul. Yeah, he can just shrug it off right there. Honey Fruit in the river as well. They successfully save Private Palafox from the top lane escapades. Tower doesn't go down for CLG, but they're happy to just avoid death up there. And we finally get to see level 16, 3-item Kassadin doing a little bit of work here.
You can still see that CLG are respecting the potential for a Maple janitor cleanup duty performance here, but they are being so patient and they're being so careful about how they approach that they are not allowing TSM a window to turn this game around.
Yeah, I'd say pretty key for next team fight, as Dhokla's shield almost got broken.
Almost
got broken.
Almost.
Will be how much time Renekton can actually buy this time around, because Solo's been just getting exploded in these team fights. Now he's got a stopwatch to buy a little bit of time, get his ultimate off there, actually try and create some space for Maple to get in there. Maokai doing a bit of chip damage here with the demonic sapling plus the Leandries, burning a little bit off of the CLG members as they brute force through and get some vision, but it's really not going to be enough. And with the mid push, they'll get another tower.
I mean, that was beautiful. I mean, CLG occupying the right quadrant, that jungle from TSM, prevented them from being able to safely rotate and answer the push from Luger. They get a free turret off that push, and now they rotate back in again. And look, not everyone from TSM is quite in position. They might look for maybe Bugi, because Maple can always just rift walk or flash away. Bugi makes it out alive. Good chunk comes out. Bugi is forced to use the Nature's Wrath. The second turret, or the first turret of the top lane, also falls. CLG, it's a slow process, Kobe, but they are working their way through it, chiseling down TSM's defense.
Yeah, and then as soon as they have an engagement, they back off, they let the Mountain Shield get back up on every member, and then they can just re-push in, kind of shrugging off this damage. The only little bit of a win right there for TSM was actually getting the cleanse off Luger, because he was looking for some aggressive positioning onto Bugi. And I thought maybe if we pick jungler there, if we pick TSM jungler, then we could actually turn towards the Baron. But you know, they're unable to actually get the pick, so they just take the outer tower and leave.
Now, Kobe, the one last-ditch effort that TSM can hope for is at this Elder Dragon fight. Because if CLG are not careful about how they play this one out, and Elder Dragon is secured by TSM, all bets are off. All this work that CLG have done for the past 31 minutes goes down the drain.
Yeah, and even maybe this Baron start that CLG are turning out the lights first. They can infinitely tank the Baron. That 6K dropping quickly too. I don't know. Can Bugi even get there in time? It's gonna get burned down. That's free!
That is a free Baron, all right, for CLG. And they still have plenty of time to reset, get ready for the Elder Dragon as well.
Yeah, you say it, and instantly, Power Ranger beams go up. Everybody goes back, get some control wards. Bring that vision on over. Now all that's left is to work through these Maokai saplings towards the dragon. Everybody's eyeballing Dhokla, but nobody wants to strike first. He knows it, yeah. You can take a look. He's got the big golden shield, doesn't care. Nice try, Neo.
I mean, poor Neo doesn't even have a last whisper item, just finishing that Infinity Edge.
And while all eyes are on him, CLG get bottom push. So, whittling down Dhokla.
You want to time this? Oh, okay. Well, Dhokla, you ruined the bit. We were going to time how long it took for TSM to kill you. And now, I mean, it's just a flash. Dhokla can still maintain position. They can get ready for this Elder Dragon fight. TSM, they are hoping for a miracle, Kobe. Maple has got to find his way onto the back line, and also hope that CLG have not completely dominated the rest of his team while he's doing it.
Can we cure Twitch Chat's fear of level 16 Kassadin? Let's see. CLG with the protection of the Mountain Soul. Kassadin goes in.
Maple, but it's Palafox that's marking him on the right side, so he can't get into the back line. Luger is playing this wall, so as soon as Maple approaches, he'll just dash over, and now he's safe. Maple is still looking for the assassination flank, but Dhokla is just taking up all this damage. Meanwhile, in the front line, and TSM still haven't found a way. Neo's shrunk to half HP.
Yeah, that's a huge chunk onto Neo, and CLG have the Nami sustain here, healing them back up. They get the second round of shields.
Luger's going forward and finds Maple, and Maple still has Flash to play with, but he just does not feel safe to go in on Luger by himself. The rest of TSM cannot support Maple's dreams of being able to 1v9 as the Kassadin and Solo is blown up. That's a huge pick for CLG. Maple's gonna go in, trade some damage, but Palafox is waiting on the other side. Maple still has flash to play with, but Rift walks over the wall. TSM are pushed out of the jungle, and CLG turn towards the dragon.
I love Mountain Soul, baby. CLG, they get the big gear. They love their wards too, Raaffaa. Wards can kill you sometimes. They can save lives, but they can also take them. And Contractz will take that one. Solo goes down again, and there is your Elder Dragon buff being worn by CLG. They've got it all, Raaffaa.
Yep.
The Soul, the Elder Dragon, the Baron. And now they're gonna come marching for that base.
This has been, overall, a very clean and patient game from CLG. And oftentimes, I think it's one that is not usually seen from a roster like this. Usually they have to pull off massive comebacks, right?
For sure. CLG themselves at the beginning of the year, they pointed out, they took a critical eye to their own team and said, our main feature we want to improve is our consistency.
Yes.
And that is something they have definitely succeeded in this game.
Totally makes sense when you run back the same roster, when you're the only team in the LCS to run back and put the faith in the same players from last year, as Luger finds Chime with a beautiful culling over the turret walls. CLG pressing their advances into the Nexus towers of TSM's base. Good chunks from TSM. It will delay the push for now, but CLG are just waiting for the inevitable.
Certainly are. Rotate on over. Bottom lane's already been dealt with. Again, consistency comes with patience here. Dhokla going to clear out one more wave. He's going to get harassed on his way out, but it's no big deal. They know. They still wearing the Elder Dragon buff, so TSM would be suicidal if they went for a full engage there.
Yeah.
The rest of the CLG members would happily take a turn right now with that Uber buff.
TSM can at least thank their lucky stars that the game has not ended yet.
True.
They get a little bit more time to play the game, which, is always a little silver lining here as we take a look back at this replay.
All right, this is another look at it. This ward up here, baby. That is a value ward. Remember that one for later. A little bit of a tip as we go into the engagement. Solo gets GA popped here, will resurrect. Dhokla sticks around with the extra shield, wants to get the re-engage. TSM forced them off. You see a lot of work being done by the Nami here when you have all the resistances of the double Mountain Dragons plus the Mountain Soul. And then the big chunk, Solo's gonna go for a recall to teleport back. He thinks it's a safe space here. They don't have any vision on me, but Contractz from behind the rock. Spider greater than Crocodile, and CLG looks like they're going to be greater than TSM today.
That's a crazy Animal Kingdom chain line. What happened in the evolution line where spiders are suddenly better than crocodiles?
Mutations in the DNA. Somehow they start transforming into humans as well.
Uh-oh.
The missing link. All right, CLG, here we go. TSM have one door open, Bugi with the flank.
All right, Nature's Wrath doesn't grasp up Luger because everyone else on CLG tanks it for him. And now it's a fire back with Palafox's own Nature's Wrath. And TSM evaporates as Luger just sails into the base. Does he go too far? No, he doesn't, Kobe! That's Luger firing on all cylinders with a quadra kill of himself. And they want to give him the penta. Bugi, get your butt over here. Luger deserves this one. He wants it. You can see it in his eyes, baby.
Showing why he chose the name. Boogie's gonna get out of there, though.
Unfortunately, Luger, you will not get a penta today unless...
Delayed.
No, the Baron stopped him. Baron playing for the TSM. They needed the 6-man, but Palafox has cut him off. They want to give him the penta. They have time to do it. It's not an official one, but we'll make it official for us. CLG with a clean game over TSM.
CLG. They get the Elise pick. They say, you know what? You can have your Maokai. We know Maokai plus Demonic, OP right now. But we're going to go with the early ganking. Contractz. Not only is he able to focus on the bottom lane matchup like we want for the Lucian Nami, but even made a visit up towards topside, get a little bit of gold early on to help that snowball. Getting the first blood on topside on the Crocodile.